What's good? Yo, gang. It's Trollbot.EXE, pulling up, looking clean, looking mean, back with another video. And today, to start off this February, we're going to be finishing off Layzner. As you know, I've already covered the characters, story, and the production. Now, let's go on to the episodes. So the episodes in the first half were just good. Yeah, they were just good for the first 26. Sure, there were some real highlights, but overall it was just good. However, the second half, they can be hit or miss. Like, in the early part of the second half, the episodes were honestly pretty bad, to the point that I nearly bum rushed through the rest of the show just to be done with it. However, particularly with an arc focusing on Ghostero, that's where the show really picked up in quality. And also the ending, no matter if you're watching the anime or the OVA, which tries to fix the ending, it doesn't feel like the show ended. It just feels like it stopped. Somehow, the finale managed to be worse than God Mars. Like, it actually left me dying laughing. Okay, let's talk about the structure of the episodes. The episodes, as typical of real robot anime, are serialized, meaning you get to follow the story. And almost always, there happens to be the mech of the episode. So it blends mech of the week action with a serialized story. The main reason why I didn't like the ending was that it was paced horrendously. And also, the early part of the second half, I kind of felt like it was too reminiscent of Fist of the North Star, but less cool. It would have been great if we got 1 to 2 intermediary episodes between the first arc and second arc in order to really smoothen the transition. But the final batch of episodes, besides the final episode itself, is easily the best stretch of the series. My favorite batch of episodes were the episodes dealing with Ghostero and his death squad. I really liked them. Since I already talked to death about the episodes, let's go on to the mecha. The Layzner's design, personally, it's a solid design. Sure, it could have some tweaks to it, but I still like the design. And I like the AI interface inside the Layzner, Rei. And they're even phonetically similar in Japanese. Rei, Layzner. I like how the blue coloring of the Layzner matches the design for Eiji. So personally, to fit with the naming convention, I would have named Eiji something like Reizo or Reiji. The AI interface, Rei, herself has many secrets that are elaborated on pretty well in the first half, though personally I wish they could have explored that more, as that plot point is completely dropped in the second half, as her secret's already unfilled, and Rei basically just becomes Layzner's AI interface and nothing more. Also, the Layzner has a VMAX function, which can be activated if the system reaches critical damage or if there is no choice. The VMAX system activates automatically for most of the first arc. However, in the second arc, Eiji uses the VMAX more at will. Overall, it's a good mech with so much potential that I just wish it could be explored more. So let's go on to The animation and music. The animation is less than great, to be honest. Especially in the second half, the animation quality takes a bit of a drop. Maybe that comes with watching anime on YouTube, but still, the animation gets quite choppy at times. However, during the mech fights, it looks really good. And the OVA, of course, since it has a bigger budget, tends to have much better animation. And most of the time it's noticeable, but sometimes you can barely tell. Okay, now it's the music. The music was done by the late Hiroki Inui, who is also responsible for Bottoms. Though this time his score is a bit less memorable, his music was just okay. Though there are some standout tracks, the music just is fine. There's really nothing to say. However, the opening, like Milos' Lonely Way, is a banger. It is sung by Airmail from Nagasaki. Yes, that's the band name. And surprisingly, it sticks, even through the OVAs. To be honest, the song sounds like something I would hear in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like in GX or 5Ds. That's probably because I watched those two series a lot back when I was a kid, like 11 or 12. I especially watched 5Ds a lot. And 5Ds is a show with Yusei in it. It was written by Yasushi Akimoto, composed by Hideo Nagasaki, and arranged by Kei Wakakusa, the man behind the scores for God Mars and L Game. These same staff carried over to the first ending theme, 5 Minutes of Selfishness, sung by Seiko Tomizawa. The song is alright. It definitely pulls you out of the show, but it's just alright. I usually tend to skip it whenever it came on. 5 Minutes of Selfishness was used for the first 25 episodes, aka the first arc. And it was used for the first OVA, which was a recap of that arc. However, the second ending is La Rose Rouge, also sung by Tomizawa. The song was penned by Miroku, composed by Tetsuji Hayashi, and arranged by Eiji Kawamura from Kamen Rider Black and Black RX and Die Ranger fame. This second ending was much better, and I would often listen to it to enjoy it. However, in the ending sequence, only the chorus of the song was ever played, which is quite unusual. I really like the melodramatic vibe it gives off, and the ending sequence puts a focus on the romance between Anna and Eiji, which gets a lot more focus. Overall, it's one of the favorites out of all the anime I've ever covered on this series. Bottom's ending is still my favorite. So, overall, my feelings of the anime, it was just alright. It wasn't good, it wasn't really okay, it was just alright. Hence, I can give this a mere, let me put this in the best way, 75% out of 100. Wait, actually, to be honest, I should give it probably a 70%. Yeah, 70 would do nicely. So overall, it was alright. Will I watch it again? Yeah, maybe. So, since I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do next, we'll get to the next video when we get to the next video. So, like, subscribe, and comment down below. And in the meantime, later, fools.
just move on.